Hey YouTube, Mr. YouTube 59. I've been out here in the shop most of the day just piddling and tinkering and messing with stuff. I don't know, we're down to the crunch, I guess. And I guess I'm like most everybody else, or I had my time to rant and rave and, over this gun control stuff. And I'll be honest, it makes me mad. For the Second Amendment, I mean, it does give us the right to possess firearms, and it is to help protect us from domestic and foreign problems, government, whatever. And you have a lot of people that are for it, a lot of people that are against it. And at this day and time, I've watched a lot of videos in the last 3 nights. I spend most of my time here in front of this thing at night. I don't care for watching TV much anymore. There's just, I don't know, too much of the wrong stuff on there, I guess you could say. I like a good comedy as much as anything, and it's hard to find a good comedy anymore. So I sit here and I watch videos and I read comments and stuff of that nature. And I can kind of see where some people are coming from as far as gun control. But at the same time, I had a conversation with somebody, been several days ago, and he was anti-Second Amendment. He didn't really, I don't know how to say it. He wasn't really against it, but he wasn't really for it. He was kind of to the point to where he's more interested in life, and so am I. I mean, don't get me wrong. Now, I love my guns. I'm not gonna lie about it. It's always been a hobby. It's always been a sport. And I don't think this guy, he gave me the impression, and that he really wasn't against it, but he felt like there needed to be a little, and this is pretty much what he said, a little more restriction as far as being able to purchase one. Okay. In some ways, I do agree. It should involve a little more, especially those that have never purchased a gun, that's never owned a gun. If you've never been to the range with one, you kind of need to know some facts about a gun before you can own one, or before you should be able to own one. And a lot of people feel like they want one, but they really don't have the opportunity to experience one. Now, right here at our home, I couldn't tell you how many people have called me, especially in the last year, and said, I want to purchase a firearm. What would be your recommendation? What do I need to pick up? And my response every time is, I'll tell you what, won't you come here to the house? I have several different types. We'll talk about them, and I'll let you fire them, and then we'll talk about what you want it for, and then we'll go from there. And I tell them, you need to get a little bit of experience and a little bit of knowledge about it before you purchase one. And I've had several people come do it. Had a guy this past summer came over and said he was wanting to purchase one, but he didn't know exactly what for. I mean, what kind? Excuse me. Let me rephrase that. What kind? And so we talked a little bit. And he said, honestly, he said, I'd like to purchase one for bedside. He said, but I'd like to eventually purchase one for concealed carry. So I brought out a couple that I would recommend for a bedside. Showed him what they were, talked about them a little bit, explained to him the safety features of it, and you know how you need to treat it and things of this nature. And showed him how they operated, the safeties, you know, just basic safety with the weapon. Let him fire each one a couple times, and then we stopped and we talked a little bit more. Talked about each one, how he, you know, how he done with it, his opinion, what he thought. Then we emptied both and had him to hold, feel, you know, and take the proper stance and find out which one felt best with him. And, you know, I've got one that's got a side safety, so we made sure that he knew how to operate that and things of that nature. As far as safety, as far as how to, you know, operate or how to point to keep it in a safe direction and how to be safe for loading it, you know, putting it in a holster, whatever. And then we moved into a couple of conceal. So, anyway, he didn't know what he wanted. He just knew that he wanted something. And like I said, we've had several people in the last year to come over and do that. But my recommendation, and I'm just asking people, if you've never fired one before and you're anti-gun, you don't like them, and you want to see these things, I'd like to put up a challenge to you. And I know most of you, if you're anti-gun, you don't like guns, and you want, you know, you're not going to pay attention to this anyway, and you've probably already cut me off. But if you haven't, I'd like you to do something. Like I say now, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I've had guns all my life. Never even crossed my mind to use one other than sport or just fun. I do concealed carry. You never know. I mean, people get beat to death every day. People get shot every day. People get, you know, stabbed every day. And you never know. And I hope that I never have to do that. Never have to use it. But it's comforting to me to know that if someone was to threaten me, or say threaten my wife when we're out to dinner, or one of my children are with me, or granddaughter, that at least I have a fair chance at protecting ourselves. But anyway, my challenge to you is, if you've never fired one, if you are anti-gun, and I know it's a big thing to ask, but I'm just asking, go to a firing range somewhere. And most firing ranges will have rental guns. You can rent one. And take somebody with you, or either have someone there. Just tell them, you know, I don't know anything about it. I'd like for an instructor to go out with me, because I'd like to fire a few rounds. I'd just like to see what this is all about. And I'm thinking of 2 different ranges right now that I know they will do that with you. If you tell them that you're not really familiar with them and you just like to shoot a few times, just to see how they are and what's going on with them and things of that nature. They'll put one of their store salesmen or someone with you to go out and help at the range. And guns are not for everybody. Just like Mercedes-Benz. It's not for everybody. I mean, you couldn't give me one. I wouldn't take one brand new off the showroom. I don't like Mercedes. So, you know, as the whole show, if you remember it, Different Strokes for different folks. But what I'm asking is, if you don't know anything about them, go to a firing range. And if you know me and you know anywhere, live anywhere close to me, call me. I'll be glad to bring you out and let you shoot on my range. It's nothing fancy. I mean, it's just a simple little range, but a little bit of time for us to sit, talk, laugh a little bit, shoot a few targets, have a little fun, glass of tea. Heck, we might even draw out the grill and, cook us up a burger or a hot dog or steak if that's what you like, But my biggest thing is, I'm asking, don't take away what I enjoy. Just because I love guns, I love being around them, I love firing them, that's no sign to take them away from me. Now, I mean, I know some people misuse them, and that's not our fault. I mean, come on, I mean, you wouldn't want to be accused of rape just because your neighbor raped someone. You wouldn't want to be charged for assault if a neighbor down the street committed an assault act against someone. You don't want to be accused for it, and you don't want to pay for it. Just like we don't want to pay for what some other people have done. It's I don't know, it's like, and I'm just going to say it like it is, just the accusation of taking anything as far as firearms away from me is kind of like being violated. You ever been violated? About a year ago, my wife and I went to town, and we stopped at a little place called Tractor Supply, and we just went in and picked up some dog food. We were in there maybe 15 minutes. Come back out, and someone had been inside our van and ransacked it. They'd been all through the dash, through the console. I mean, they tore everything out. I guess they were looking for money or something valuable. I don't know. Only thing they found was a little bit of pocket change, maybe, because we don't keep much in the cars. But I still, even though it was over a year ago, I feel violated because that was my van and nobody had any business being in it. So, and I feel like I'm being violated because I'm at the point that I may be punished for something that, I haven't done. And I'm not talking just for myself. I mean, there's millions of people out here that have done nothing, done everything within their power to be legal, which I have, everything within their power to be safe, and yet we feel like we're on a chopping block. So, yeah, we've ranted and raved a little bit, and we've all been mad, and, but we're asking that don't take something away from us because someone else was stupid. I say at the end of every video I do, play hard, because life's short, so play hard. Play safe. Don't be stupid. Stupid gets you hurt. Stupid gets you in trouble. Well, people do stupid things every day. If you'll pick up the newspaper or, and this is something that's starting to bother me too, because the news press, the news stations and stuff, they're just picking up on every little bitty thing that happens with guns or firearms. But there's so much, just in our little community, there is so much going on as far as violence and death, and they're not publicizing any of it. It's like it's all being swept under the table, and it sort of upsets me, because this is a time that it's not only firearms that's causing problems out here. In fact, firearms is not responsible for 90% of what's going on, but yet that's what's under the table, or that's what's under the knife right now. Guillotine, whatever you want to call it. But, we had a car wreck right here in our town from neglect. This guy, he was texting and run a red light and hit this car and killed the person. And I knew this because I came right along behind and stopped to see if I could help and talk with the officers a little bit. And I mean, this is something that, sometimes you just don't talk about, and I haven't talked to it about, with my family, because there's no reason to upset my family over things, and you don't want to give them the green, nasty parts of stuff, but I kept looking. It was never put in the paper. I never seen it on the news, but because this guy was texting, he wasn't being safe, and he ran a red light. He took a life. Well, now, if we're going to be fair about things, then I think we need to take cell phones away from people, or either make texting unavailable. No, it's just my thoughts. We got along fine. I'm old enough. I remember before cell phones come along, before texting, and we got along just fine. We didn't have to have texting. We didn't have to have a cell phone. In fact, when I got my first pager, and yeah, some of you remember what pagers were, or still do. That was the only thing there was. There wasn't a cell phone. I remember the first bag phone. But even back, the pagers, we got along fine. Now, we may not have got all the news updated, and I think that's part of the world's problem, is too much, communication. My goodness, if you want to know how to make a bomb, just turn TV on or come here on the internet, you find out how to make a bomb. I mean, that's not, too much information. But my first pager, I didn't have it probably 2-3 days, and I chucked it across the woods. I did, But I'm just asking, if you're against guns, and and you're kind of on that fence, you're kind of undecided, think about like this guy I talked with the other day. He's not really for it, but he's not for taking it away from the ones that respect it either. So I've got a lot of respect for this guy. Even though he doesn't agree with it, he's not looking to take it away from anybody. He just wants everybody to understand, that we are individually responsible for what we do. And he's 100% right. We are responsible. But it's like this guy the other day that, he was texting. And it happens every day. It's just that you don't hear of it because it's just not the popular news right now. Now, once we get off of this gun stuff, something else will come up, and that'll be the popular, whatever brings in the ratings. TV and radio is kind of crooked, if you want to be honest about it. And even this internet thing is kind of crooked in a way. A lot of negative information comes out. You hear people say, people set off a bomb. How did they even know how to make one? They must have been in the military and learned how. No. Go on the internet. Type it in. You'll find out the combinations and the formula to make a bomb. Well, if you couldn't find it so easily on the internet, there may not be people making them so much. But you get copycats, and that's what's going on right now. And I have no doubt in my mind that's what's going on right now. You had one guy at the theater, and there may have been one before that, I don't know, that's just the one I picked up on, and he made big headlines. Well, you've got these people out here that are suicidal anyway, and not quite right in the head, and they're thinking, he got a lot of public attention. So if I'm gonna, if I'm mad at these people or whatever, and I want to get some attention, I'm gonna do what he did. And it happens. I mean, we can say no, it don't if we want to, but it does. Really, reality, it does. You have copycats. They want to do the same thing. Now, this young guy, 16-year-old this week, went into high school with a shotgun. Well, And I'm ashamed of myself. I really am. I'm ashamed of myself because the first thought in my mind when I heard it was, at least it wasn't AR. You know, it doesn't make any difference. It's still, it's sad that we let our kids and teenagers go off the deep end. You know, but we have nobody to blame but ourselves. We don't teach our kids anymore. We hope somebody else will teach them. We send them to school, let the teachers teach them. Well, you don't know what kind of religion, you don't know what kind of thoughts. The teacher that they're sitting behind every day may be suicidal. We don't know. Do they take evaluations every year to make sure they're mentally sane to teach our kids? I mean, it gets into a big, big picture. It's not just a little picture. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. It's not the gun. The gun has nothing to do with it. Just like the cars. Car wrecks every day, and the car causes people to die, injure them every day. But it's not the car's fault. It's like my truck. My truck can sit out here in the yard for 3 months, and it'll never hurt nobody. But now once I get behind the wheel, I can be responsible for that truck hurting someone. It's not the machine. It's like I said, it's preference. You may not care for guns. I don't really care for cell phones. But is that a reason for me to start protesting have cell phones taken away from everybody? I don't like Mercedes. I hate Mercedes. I always have. I don't know what it is about them. I don't like them. And there's a few others. I mean, I don't like Buicks. I just don't like them. Chrysler. I never liked Chrysler. So, does that mean that I need to go on a rampage and try to have those banned? Have them taken off the road? And I've done gone on too long already, but it's things that are on my mind, and I want people to understand it's not right, people. We're human. It's not right to blame everyone. Even in the police department, and if you serve in the police department, I have all respect in the world for you because you have a dangerous job. But it's a fact. One bad cop makes the whole law enforcement look bad. Right here where I live in Avamar, I mean, there's one or two that I don't know if it's because they want to show their authority or whether they're just that way. I don't know. But they're snobby. And they don't, they're just, I don't know, hard to get along with. But as a majority, I know several of the sheriffs here are just as nice people as you ever want to meet. I know one or two. I know two on video on the YouTube channels here. One's a really good, I feel like, I hope, and Brothers Keeper, if you hear this, I hope you consider me a friend. I consider you a good friend. I'd love to get up with you sometime and do some shooting and stuff. But they're in law enforcement, and I respect them to the fullest. But it only takes one bad apple to make the whole force look bad. And it's I mean, that's sad. It really is. I don't really know how to put it any plainer, folks. Don't punish the group. Don't be like the military. One person in platoon screw up and the whole platoon pays for it. No, don't be that way. That's not right. If you got one person in platoon, and I'm saying this because we had one. Now, we lost several. They fell out like apples off a tree. But we had one that was having a hard time. He couldn't keep up, and he was getting all of us in trouble. And thankfully, God touched some hearts. And, a couple of guys said, got a bunch of us together one evening and said, we need to do something. What are we going to do about this person? And I started to say something. Before I did, somebody else spoke up and said, look, there's no need in punishing him anymore. Why don't we all take time with him and help him to get up to par? So what everybody agreed to, we was going to spend 1 week with this guy, and we were going to try to help him instead of hinder him, encourage him. And you know what? He turned out to be one of the top in the class. All he needed was that little bit of support. So I'm asking, try it. If you've never fired a gun, and I know people right now that have never fired one. In fact, I know one right now that's 62 years old and admitted to me last week he's never fired a gun, never held one in his hand. But now he's not anti either. I mean, you know, he said, you know, just because I don't mean I should blame everybody else. So that's the kind of people I respect. But yeah, I'm not going after cell phones. I mean, they kill. That little black box right there, it kills. It takes your attention away from what you ought to be doing at times. We use cars every day and we kill with them. There's people out here murdering every day with baseball bats. And I pulled up the statistics again yesterday because I like to keep up with statistics. Go on to FBI files and look and see, you know, pull up murder weapons and see what's been used in the last 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, what's been filed last year, what's been filed. Baseball bats still top of the line, top of the list. But you know, I don't want to take baseball bats away from everybody. That's American tradition, baseball. You can't take baseball bats away from people, and don't want to. I want to teach these people that are using them that it's wrong. We need to get the people out of the prisons that don't really need to be there anyway. I mean, they could be on house arrest or something of that nature, or probation, that's taking up space in the jails. But put the people that really belong in jail behind bars and keep them there. Don't take them in, slap them on the wrist a few times, and in a couple of months let them go. All that's telling them is it's okay. You know, you have to spend a little bit of time here, but you can go. It's just like schools. See, I don't agree that we took capital punishment out of schools. I think kids should still be whipped. Not whipped, let's say paddled. That's what I got when I was in school. It didn't hurt me a bit. Getting paddled in school did not hurt me at all. I mean, it hurt me at the time because my butt hurt. But it taught me something. It taught me respect. You know? Now, when I was in high school, and I'm going to get off here. I know this is getting long. But when I was in high school, we still carried pocket knives. Oh, yeah, folks. There was a time when you could carry your pocket knife to school with you. Now, you was told to leave it in your pocket, not to pull it out. But, you know, you were allowed to carry it. They didn't really care. But you know what? I lived in an old... I won't say old-timey. I went to school in old-timey school. It was a bunch of dirt clod busters, whatever you want to call them, clod busters. I mean, it was a farmland. It was... High school had a lot of farmers' kids in it, and but we played by the old rules. Segregation was just getting started. Blacks and whites were getting mixed, and our school, for the most part, was, you know, that's cool. We ain't got a problem with it. The only thing we had a problem with was smart alecks. You come in with some sense and respect, and nobody had no problems. I mean, we were fine. Now, you did have your occasional fights, and sometimes it was a black on white or white on black, whichever you call it. And some people called it racist. And honestly, the ones that I understood and I knew what was going on, it wasn't racist. It was just difference in opinions, maybe. Conflict. It wasn't really as far as racial, but we were the type of school, if you had a problem with somebody, you stood toe to toe, and you either talked it out or you fought it out. Now, once the fight was over, you went on and you guys were okay. It wasn't like today. It wasn't like a bunch of drama carry on for a month or two. No, you stood toe to toe. You either talked it out or you fought it out, and it was done tomorrow. We're fine, you know. But we're also a school. You pull your pocket knife on a fight, you're not only fighting the person standing in front of you, you now are fighting the whole school, because they're going to jump you, they're going to take the knife away from you, beat the heck out of you, and then throw you back in the fight. You fight fair. There's no such thing as unfair fight in our school. Now, that's just the way it was. I've seen pocket knives taken away from people several times and thrown back in the fight. Now, it's just respect. I mean, it's honest, clean dispute. Don't bring in a weapon. But anyway, I'm done ranting and raving, and well, I don't really guess I'm ranting and raving this time, but anyway, just wanted to ask some people to think about it. We got some stuff coming up, and I just don't want to lose my right as a United States citizen. Honestly, if I lose my rights, I will probably, I'm just the type person, I want to get even. I'll find something that the non-gun community really takes to heart, and I'll get a crowd to go after them. I'm just that type of person. I really don't want to. But when you start coming into my house and start taking things away from me, I'm like an old bulldog. You rattle my cage. Don't like it. Folks, God bless. This has been way too long, and I know that. And if you stayed tuned to watch it, I appreciate it. And if you stayed long enough to watch it, I'm going to tell you again. I done a giveaway back in Thanksgiving. I had 32 subscribers. I am now at 71. And I've told you then, I'm going to tell you now. When I reach 100, I'm going to do another giveaway. And I've been thinking about going ahead and starting it and see how long it'll take to get to 100. Like I say, I'm at 71 now. So, I only need 29. Folks, God bless. Play hard. Life short. Play safe. And don't forget, if you play stupid, you will get hurt. God bless. Till next time, this is Jack, and I'm out.